class. Welcome to Japanese 201. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Professor Rose, and I'll be your teacher for this semester. Is everyone all settled down? Okay, great. Well, welcome back to your first day of class. I'm sure a lot of you are sad that summer is over, but I do promise you that this is a very laid-back class, and if you ever have any trouble or feel like you're falling behind, my doors are always open. I keep office hours Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., and that'll be in the social science offices, room 203. Okay, great. I see someone has left me an apple. Oh, was that you? Thank you. I do love apples. Now the rest of you don't start groaning. It's not necessarily means that they're a teacher's pet. Anyone who's taken my class before knows that I am a fiend for apples, especially in the autumn. And this one's very nice. It does look like you left the sticker on, but I'll peel it off. Now, I will have this later with my lunch, but thank you for the apple. I appreciate it. So let's get started. I'm just going to do a quick roll call. I know that since this is the first day, some students may have dropped and this might not be updated, so I just want to get an idea of who we have in the class, okay? So just give me a moment. I'm going to put my pen down for just a second. Please don't mind me. It's always a little hectic on the first day. I'm sure you guys understand. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I found it. So, if you can just raise your hand and say here when I call your name, that would be great. Okay. Anthony? Okay. Margaret? Great. Henry? Anne? Charles Brandon. Okay, perfect. Catherine. Perfect. Okay, great. Let me see. I have another Anne. Anne Cleves. Anne Cleves. Okay, you're here. Okay. Jonathan? Perfect. Okay. Kimberly? Wonderful. Mariah? Okay, lovely. Lavender? Great. And Stephen? Stephen here? We have Jennifer. Okay, great. And we have Zachary. Zachary here? Okay, great. So it looks like most of our class is in attendance. That's great. So today we're just going to sort of do a little bit of an introductory. It's the first day of school. I know you don't want to get hammered with a lot of information and, lessons right away, and I'm sure you're also probably pretty tired of hearing all these introductory classes, but that is how the first day of school goes. So I thank you all for your patience ahead of time, and let's go over the curriculum. So just bear with me while I find that, okay? Okay, not in here. Sorry for being so disorganized, it's a little embarrassing. Here we go. Okay, so welcome all to Japanese 201. As you already know, I'm Professor Rose. We already went over all that. This class will meet 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1 p.m. until 2:30 p.m. Okay? If you ever need to take a break, a restroom break, or if you have, let's say, a very important phone call, obviously not just chatting with your friends, but a doctor or a family member, you're welcome to excuse yourself from class. There's no holding your hand and asking if you can go to the bathroom. I find that to be fairly disruptive. So there's just a bathroom pass that's right over by the door, as you guys can see. So I want you just to go ahead, quietly get up, grab the pass. Just don't abuse it. Don't use it, more than once per class. Don't leave for extended periods of time. Just be very considerate of myself and your fellow students and our environment here, okay? Okay, so perfect. Just crossing off what I've gone over. Now, as far as attendance goes, I do ask everyone here is in a timely fashion. We're going to be starting our classes right away. An hour and a half might seem like a long class time, but we have a lot to go over in our curriculum this year, or this semester rather. So I'm going to be starting right away, and entering late to class can be very disruptive. And after 20 minutes, class starts, I will be locking the door from the outside, which is why you'll notice the bathroom pass has a key. So you can leave the class without disruption, but when you re-enter the class, you'll have the bathroom pass to use a key, which brings me to the next point. When you do have to exit the class for the bathroom, it's only one student at a time because we only have one key. So also be considerate when you take a little brief escape from class, okay? Now, as far as attendance goes, let me just, okay. So as far as attendance goes, I do ask that you make every effort to attend every class. You are allowed 2 absences only, unless you have a doctor's note, either from our campus nurse, and I think you guys know the drill with that. You can only get a note if you have a fever, if you are either violently ill, or if you have a fever above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, that is, and you will need the nurse's note, or if it's some sort of ongoing medical issue you have, I'll need a family doctor's note. Otherwise, unless there's a case of a family emergency, a death or injury, I do expect you to be here for every class except for the allowed 2 absences. Once you exceed that, your final grade will be taken down half of a letter grade. So, as you can see, attendance is very important for our class, okay? Okay. As far as what you can expect, if you've taken the Japanese 101 class with me here last semester, it's going to be a little bit similar. We're going to build it up a little bit more. We'll be adding more vocabulary. We're also going to start learning more casual tenses to our words. We learn mostly formal in 101. And while that's obviously very important for business trips and respecting elders and traditional learning, for those of you who want to study abroad or perhaps do something involving, fashion or makeup or music or some kind of pop culture in Japan. Or for those of you who have been befriending our international students here, you'll notice traditional versus casual is a bit different, and more it's commonly in Japan that people are speaking the more casual forms. So we'll be doing more of that in our class. Okay, let me just mark that off. So that's something you can look forward to. You'll have to excuse any background noises. It's a busy day on campus today. Just wait for that truck to go away. Great. So like I was saying, more casual tenses, things of that nature. We'll be increasing our character counts, our kanji, so you can look forward to that. We will be having a pop quiz, except I will let you know about it. No surprises here. I won't be sneaking up on you. We'll be having that every week, and it's not so much a quiz. Yes, you will be graded on it, but it's less of a quiz and more of a review of what we learned that week. It's kind of my way of assessing where you as the students are, okay? So, I'm just going to hand out the curriculum a little bit in more detail. Besides the pop quizzes, we will have a midterm exam, which will be a big one. It'll be a big part of your grade, and we'll be having a final exam. We'll also be having some projects that are going to be part of your grade, but they should be more fun. Those are take-home assignments where you can let your creativity flow. Can I get someone from the front row? Yes, Margaret, yes. Can you just hand these out to everyone, please? Yeah, just one for each person. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Margaret is just going to be handing out the curriculum for all of you so that you can have your own copy and you can keep track of when the quizzes are. It'll even say what the quizzes, the general topics for the quizzes. So if you want to really get ahead, you can study way ahead of time for the weekly quizzes. And it also has other deadlines and other information, including attendance and everything. So now let's talk about supplies. Just gonna look through, see if I can find what I'm looking for. Okay, here we go. Yes, great. Just make sure this is what I'm looking for. Yes, okay. So, supplies. Now, unlike many of your other classes, which will require a pen, we ask that you have pencils, and they must be erasable pencils. I don't recommend erasable pens because usually the eraser doesn't tend to really clean it all the way. When you're working with Japanese characters, especially as you get used to it, you'll find that you erase rather often. So pencils and a sturdy eraser, whether it's attached to your pencil or it's on the side, those are highly recommended for class. You'll want lined paper like this, and that'll be really helpful for writing out your characters. You can also purchase special Japanese character paper that is gridded to have the little squares. Yeah, we used some of that last year, and that'll help you a bit as far as looking over having characters per box. It'll help you be a little neater in your writing, especially as you write essays in Japanese later in the semester. Okay, so those are the basics for supplies. Let's talk about books now, okay? So the first thing that you will all be receiving, or that you need to receive, is this Yokusu. And this book that I have, you can see it's a little dirty, it's a little used. I've had this for many years. I've been teaching this class for longer than you may think. And this is continuing with contemporary Japanese. And make sure you get the media edition, okay guys? The media edition. It comes with an interactive CD-ROM with every new copy. So if you do get the used copy, you will have to find the CD-ROM from somewhere. If your friend has it, you can burn the CD from them. Otherwise, it's important that you have that, okay? And in this, you'll have your basic hiragana and katakana. And it's a really great book. I'm a big fan of this text. I use all of my stuff in Yokusu. I'm just going to flip through a little bit so you can see there's a lot of chapters in here. At the beginning, let's sort of review what we've already been through. But as you get further on, you'll find that there's much more. So this is very important. You all are required to have this book, okay? Great. So moving on to the next book. And that is the workbook/laboratory manual, 3rd edition Yokusu. And this goes along with the textbook here. Sometimes you can buy them together, sealed in a pack if they're new. You can also go to our used bookstore on campus where you can find these items already used. Obviously, if you want to go to eBay or Amazon, you're welcome to. But I think to be safe, it's good to use our on-campus facilities to make sure you're getting the actual editions, okay? So this workbook, this one is my old one, so it might have some writing in it. But as you can see, there is, it's the usual workbook that goes along with the text, and you'll write directly in it. This is mostly for your own practice, okay? Every now and then I will be checking. Sometimes you'll have homework assignments from this, but generally this is going to be super helpful for you for studying for our quizzes and later on for our examinations, okay? And as you get further into the chapters, it goes along with the text. And you're going to find that it's going to get difficult, but it increases gradually, so I don't think anyone should be too overwhelmed. And you can see, look at this. We have a little murder scene here, so it'll be exciting, try to find out what happened. Let's see, I'm going to read aloud this little scenario because you can kind of get an idea how this book is, it's not all boring, okay? So, there has been a murder. An American businessman was killed in his apartment in Aoyama. You are a detective called to the murder scene to investigate the case. Study the picture and answer the questions by making guesses from evidence in the picture. Use you and mitai. Give the reasons for your answers. Then it has some useful vocabulary. We have konso, safe, and it's a noun. So let's see. Kono heya ni nan ga shin ga nanji itan desho ka. So you can see I'm a little rusty too, huh? It's been a long summer. But we'll work on it together, yes? This is, later on in the book that I'm pulling out, and we'll still have a lot to learn. But that's just to give you a little taste. Now, the next two books I'm going to show you, they're not required, but I highly recommend them, especially if you're very serious about your studies and you expect to go on and take Japanese 301. I know for some of you this is your major and you'll definitely be taking 301. For some of you it's a minor and this is your final step. Some of you are just taking this class out of interest, and that's wonderful. But regardless of your intent, I really do recommend these books. They're just going to help your progress in this class so much. So the first is this kanji pictographics. And basically, it's various kanji, and there's images to help you remember them. This is to stop. Shi, tomaru, tomeru. So that's how you can say tomaru, tomeru. It also is going to have the Chinese pronunciation for a lot of these, because a lot of the kanji is taken from Chinese characters. So it'll give you a little bit of both. And you can see, to remember how this is, it's a police officer telling this person to stop, even though they're not facing them, but you know, listen, we gotta do what we gotta do. So here I'll show you just some examples. We have here tree, which is a boku, or can be pronounced moku. And so this is the basic symbol for tree in Japanese. Now this also can have many other meanings depending, as you guys know from we learned last year, depending on what it goes with. Now this is pronounced hon, and it looks a little bit like tree, but it's a little different. It has this little slash. And the meaning of it has several meanings, which I know gets confusing. But here it's root, origin, or book. So hon, which you've heard most commonly meaning book in this class, but it also can mean the origin of something, or roots, like actual roots of a tree, which if you think about roots and origin, it does go together. Book is a little different. I always tell you guys, remember, paper is made from trees and paper goes in books. So it is related, but you can see how the imagery for it looks like roots. So that is helpful. And it goes on like that. And I'll read you just a brief thing about this. So, kanji developed from pictures used by the Chinese several thousand years ago to represent the world around them. Some types of kanji have retained their pictographic forms and look very much like the objects that they represent. The group of kanji called pictographs are stylized representations of actual physical objects. And here's some common ones here, if you guys can see that. We have river, we have gate, I believe this is mountain, we have the tree again, what do we have here, willow, and timber. So, yes, did you have a question? Oh, okay, yes. Don't forget, you don't have to raise your hand to go to the bathroom, you just grab the pass. Go ahead. We're almost done here, though. But you can still go, I'm sure, you know, it'll be fine. So the last book I want to show you guys, now this one's a little pricey, and I understand not everyone will be able to afford it. But if you have a roommate or a good friend, I really recommend, who's also taking this class, I recommend maybe going half and half on it, because it's really, really useful for this class. And that is the New Nelson Japanese English Character Dictionary. And this is an incredible, incredible book to have. This, you can see, originally was $70. I got my teacher discount. But you can find these used, and again, you can split with another student. But this will be so helpful. There's a few copies in the library, but it's really useful to have one on your own. And this is essentially just an incredible, you can see how big it is. Yes, did you have a question as well? Yeah, back. Oh, okay, yes. So if you have the one from last year, the old Nelson, it'll work. I do recommend the new Nelson, but I'm not going to have you go out and, unless you can sell your old Nelson and get a new Nelson. The old Nelson will work, but I do recommend, if you don't already have the old Nelson, get the new one. It's just so much more specific and updated. Okay, thanks. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. Okay. So you can see here, I mean, look how paper thin these pages are. And it is very long. There's over 1,000 pages in this book. But you will find every single word here. And it's split into Japanese to English and English to Japanese. So this book is just so highly recommended. I can't say enough good things about it. It will save you so much headaches when you have to write your essays, for homework, for special projects, and definitely on quizzes in the future. So this one, and this is my personal copy, but if you come to my office hours needing help with homework, you're welcome to use my copy. It just has to stay in the office, okay? Okay, I'm gonna put this down. Alrighty, so that is basically it for today. I know, can you believe it? Usually our class is an hour and a half, but we're just gonna have a very short class today because I know you guys have been running from course to course, and some of you maybe are realizing you signed up for too many classes this semester. Hopefully you'll be keeping with my class, but I won't be offended if you're not. I know a lot of you have to scurry off to your guidance counselor and see what classes you might drop and what classes you might keep. So we're just going to cut this class short today, but starting our next class, which will be in 2 days, we will be doing our full hour and a half course, and we'll get started right on time. And we'll start with a review for the first week, reviewing what you learned in 101. And then from there, we're going to move on and, we're going to get going with it. But for today, I'm just so happy to have met all of you. Make sure you hold on to your curriculums. No homework for tonight. Just your homework is to get all of the texts and the books I told you about. Please make sure you get those speedily. Again, it's only optional for the dictionaries, though I do recommend them, but you will need both of the textbooks for your next class. Okay? Do you have any other questions? Oh, that is a good question. Yes, if you'd like to have a coffee or water or juice in class, that's fine, but no food, and that does include gum. I know a lot of you like gum. I know it helps you focus, but yeah, we can't do gum in this class. It's very distracting to other students. A lot of times you get stuck under the desks, so no gum chewing, no snacks, no food. You'll have to eat before or after class. I do apologize. Beverages are fine though, including coffee or soft drinks, as long as they're not disruptive, okay? Oh, and yes, thank you for bringing that up. No cell phones in class. Again, if there's a family emergency, maybe you're awaiting a call from a doctor or a parent or a loved one, that's very important. Just let me know ahead of class. Keep your phone on vibrate, and just very cautiously exit the class to be as least disruptive as possible. Otherwise, no phones in class, no texting, no playing on games. Your phones need to be on silent, again, unless you've spoken to me earlier. And that's it. Yes, that's basically the main things I wanted to touch upon today. I so look forward to seeing the rest of you in the following weeks and months to follow. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me after class, okay? Okay, well, have a wonderful rest of your day.